So first of all, my name is Chris. I'm currently 35 years old. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but moved to Texas when I was about 5 years old or so. I love to draw. I love cats. I love just the internet in general, and I feel like I've lived on the internet for most of my life. It's just like part of who I am and what I do.
Even before Nine Cat, you were an active artist back in the day. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you kind of first got involved as an artist and what some of your earliest works were all about?
I really started getting into art around, I want to say early 2000s when I had like LiveJournal way back in the LiveJournal days. And I created this silly comic called LOL Comics. And honestly, at the time, I had I still don't even have a plan for it. It was just something that I would just vent. I would just vent to. If I was feeling great, I would draw. If I was feeling angry, I would just draw about it. And it was kind of therapeutic in a way. I would always just draw what I liked. And the graphics still aren't the best, but I think that's kind of the charm of it. It was just, I'm not really trying to make anything happen on it. I'm expressing myself. And I think a lot of people realize that when they read the comics. They read between the stupid little panels and everything. And I think that's what's made it as charming and unique as it is.
So jumping up to April 2011, when you created Nine Cat and shared it to your comic site for the first time, I'd like to hear more about how you came up with the idea for it and what you expected the reaction to be.
Around March or so, I remember in 2011, there were like the Tehuca earthquakes that were just ravaging the world. And I know a lot of people were actually working together to help and, bring humanitarian aid to people that needed it. And actually during that time, I decided to just start up a live stream, draw some comics, and get tips, basically. Nobody was chatting. And I was like, hey, say some keywords and I'll see what I can do. And long story short, I was just reading all the keywords and I saw cat, I saw rainbows, and I just decided to just put it all together. And I drew like a really rough draft of what Nyan Cat is now. It's just literally a very flat, crudely drawn. So that night, I spent about 6 hours. I remember the sun coming up when I was finished drawing. I was exhausted. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like that. It was just a spur of the moment sort of thing. And I drew actually the entire Nyan Cat animation. It was just really hard to draw because I know there was looping issues. I couldn't loop it right. My OCD was going crazy. And I was like, okay, that's cool. People like my work. Thank you. I'm very happy about this. I didn't really think much of it because I had no clue what was about to happen.
So can you talk a little bit more about how your cat kind of played a role in inspiring it?
Yeah, sure. So at the time I had a Russian blue cat named Marty, who was like my baby. I spoiled him. Yeah, he was very energetic cat, but he was also like a big baby, a big sweetie. He would just always be near me. He would play all the time. He was a great cat. And I love cats, so I just started drawing cats at some point. I know before Nyan Cat, I drew the 151 Pokemon as cats, and that one kind of got really popular. So I've always had the mentality of just kind of making different kinds of cats and seeing what sticks.
Within a couple of days or a few weeks of posting it, Nine Cat took off and became a viral sensation. So what was running through your head at the time, and how surprised were you to see people latch onto it like they did?
It caught your attention. You're scrolling by, you see this really fast and colorful animation. It's very eye-popping, and the big smile. Everybody loves the big smile, and everybody kind of latched onto that. So on that day, I was actually starting a new job as an insurance claim adjuster, and my phone was just blowing up. I was like, what's going on here? I'm trying to do work, and I can't because of my phone. And then a friend of mine gave me a call and was like, hey, did you see that cat video? And I was like, what are you talking about? Your work, it's on YouTube and it's got a lot of views. And I was like, I didn't do this. And then I uploaded it. I ended up looking at the video and I was like, oh, there it is. It's flying around and it's cute and the music's fun and catchy. But at the time, again, I didn't know what was about, I didn't know it was about to explode into this huge worldwide thing.
So with how quickly it took off, we read that you had some difficulties getting, like recognition and copyright for your creation back then. So how were you ultimately able to resolve this, and what sort of impacts did it have on your personal life and career?
So yeah, whenever it started getting big, there was like a lot of high points. Everybody was loving it. Everybody was, giving me emails, sending me emails about how much they loved it, how it saved their marriage, all that kind of stuff. But then I started getting news that there were like some big companies that were actually filing for the copyrights and the trademarks of my work without me even saying anything about it. There were like several people that applied for it. And that freaked me out because that meant that somebody was trying to, pretty much take ownership of my art. And it was a difficult time because it was a very long process actually fighting it.
So aside from Nyan Cat, what other characters did you create that were overlooked or didn't get the recognition they deserved? Did Fiesta Spider ever get his due?
Fiesta Spider definitely has a cult following. I get people all the time messaging me and going, "Where's Fiesta Spider? When's the next Fiesta Spider comic?" So for those that don't know, Fiesta Spider is it's a little brown spider that I used to draw in my LOL comics, and I still do actually. And he's a little brown spider, and he has a big old sombrero, and he just says Fiesta, like that's all he says. I've made a whole bunch of them. I actually remember making a whole series one week, and people seem to love those. But I think he's got a cult following. I don't see him exploding into popularity, but he has fans, and I know people like enjoy seeing Fiesta Spider on their screen.
Paying homage to Marty, who passed away in late 2012, just a year after inspiring the original animation, how do you want people to remember both Nyan Cat and Marty, since we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary? Joining legends like Keyboard Cat and Long Cat, how do you want his legacy to go down in the halls of internet history?
I think people should just remember Marty for just being just a crazy cat, but really like such a lovable cat. He was so friendly, and he would like talk to you. He would talk to me all the time. And I feel like I put his energy into the image as best as I could, because he was always running around and just doing whatever he wanted. But he was such a charmer, and I want people to remember him as just something like a very carefree, very fun-spirited kind of animal. That's how I would like him remembered. Just get lots of like love and praise just by looking at him.
Yeah, I think that is really cool too, because I feel like his legacy in Nyan Cat has kind of like continued that, and that he like brings joy to people and makes people smile, and still kind of has that same vibes.
He was already a really happy cat, and just super energetic, super excited all the time. He was just he was one of the best things that ever happened to me, not just because of the Nyan Cat thing, just because he was such a great partner and a friend, and it was very comforting to be around.
So with this being such a historic moment for meme creators and digital artists such as yourself, what's going through your mind now that the sales ended and you've had time to kind of like process everything?
I'm still trying to process it. Once the sale finalized, it just like exploded with just like people going crazy for it. And my work still has to be done. I'm still constantly making this work for Nyan Cat and the whole life behind it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's funny how you kept saying, like, I hope this opens up the floodgates beforehand. It definitely did.
I think it worked. Like, I know I kept saying that, but I honestly think that it definitely has worked. And honestly, this is all for the artists out there. Like, do your art, make some money, make yourself known. And that's kind of always been my thing from the start, like making sure everybody gets proper attribution to their work.
Given your struggles to be recognized or properly paid for creating Nyan Cat in the past, does it feel validating for this to finally come about nearly a decade later?
I think so. I think it's more about, I'm surprised, and I'm like so humbled to know that Nyan Cat is still a big cultural significance. Like it's been almost 10 years, and memes nowadays, a lot of them are like, they last a week or so, and then people move on to the next thing. But Nyan Cat's always kind of resonated with people, and it's always been something that people remember. And it's crazy knowing that my art is like a household name across the world.
All right, so I got one kind of final one here. The recent announcement from Christie's auction house planning to sell its first ever NFT later this month, which is a huge deal. What do you think this means for meme creators and digital artists going forward?
I think that makes things serious. Like a lot of people, let me rewind back a little bit. So like there was an article that came out for the New York Times about NFTs. And I was reading the comments, and everybody in the comments was like, what is going on? Why is everybody doing this? This is just a picture. You can just download it. But they don't get it. They don't get that NFTs are a little more different than that. NFTs are one of a kind. Starting soon, we're gonna see lots of big time museums get into the work, lots of like art being displayed, lots of like really cool collaboration attempts. And I think this is kind of how art is evolving. It's still all over the place. People are still trying to understand it. I'm still trying to understand it. But I think that's just where things are headed. And I think it's going to be a really cool process. I'm just thankful like for all of it, for like all of the support and all the comments and all the like everybody like finding interest in it. And I'm like really excited because like it's kind of it's been a slow year. So everything's like now just kickstarting, and now I'm like getting really artistic, and I'm like, I haven't slept and I haven't slept much, but this is all good. These are all good things. I see it all as a good future for my stuff, and I'm just like, I'm ready to just keep going.